guys, so today I'm going to be working on my winter wreath. But if your theme is silver, blue, and white, you know, this could be your Christmas wreath. But I'm making this my winter wreath because I feel like I could leave this on the door a little longer than red and green because those are my Christmas colors. I'm going to go over my supplies. This is a 21-inch roll of mesh. I got this at Walmart, so you can find this very easily at Walmart. I'm going to be using kind of like a light gray pipe cleaner to hold onto my 14-inch wreath ring. I've got my mesh already cut because I started this, filmed it, and realized I made the poofs way too big and it was not going to fit on my door. So bonus, you can always take it apart if you realize you made your stuff too big. I've got various ribbon here. I am a ribbon hoarder. As you can see, I hoard ribbon. Ribbon is like my thing that I can never have enough of. I also found these at Walmart. I don't know if I'm going to use that dark of a blue. I think it might. I don't know that I like it as much as I thought I would. So that might be saved for a 4th of July project. I don't know. I have these snowflakes from my Christmas bin. I don't typically put the snowflakes on my tree anymore. So I've repurposed them probably to put on this wreath. And then, like I said, I've got piles of ribbon here that have fallen off the spool. And then I also found this at Walmart for 97 cents. They had all colors and types. So that is the kind of the supplies I'm going with. I also have craft wire just in case, you know, I end up wanting to attach the snowflakes or I need it for something. So craft wire as well. Alright guys, woo, I'm dropping stuff. In the middle of working with this, I forgot that I also grabbed some silver mesh. And then this is called mesh tubing. This is Dollar Tree stuff. And I may use these as well. So you're going to start off by taking your pipe cleaners and securing them to the outer 2 brackets of your wreath ring. I used 13 on the outside of my wreath ring. Alright, so I'm going to take this part slow so you can see what I'm doing here. You're going to gather your 21-inch mesh and kind of create this kind of ripple effect. It's hard to explain. And then you're going to take and create a loop by combining both ends together. Then you secure that down to your wreath, making sure that you're going in the direction that you want. So just secure that down with your pipe cleaners. And then you just puff it up and make sure it is the size that you want. Then you just create another poof by pulling in the outside and just making sure that you're kind of pulling in the edges so it's filling in your poof, and make sure you're creating small, even loops here because you don't want them to be see-through. So just make sure that it's the height and the size that you want and just continue that all the way around. I am here at the end point. So this loop really, it needs to fill in this gap here. So you're going to do the same thing you did with your start point. You're going to create your puff here. But you also, you kind of have to leave some extra in order to kind of pull it in to create another poof, if that makes sense. So you're going to cut probably about here. You're going to pull that in to create a poof, and then you're going to tie it down into it like that. So you've created 2 poofs, and I'm hoping that that makes sense. So this is attached to your wreath. You're going to poof that one up, have some extra to create another poof like that. So you're going to bring those 2 together, and then you're going to attach this point to your pipe cleaner down here. Now you're going to go through the center point and do the exact same thing through the center. I ended up using 7 pipe cleaners in the center of this wreath, but again, more or less depending upon how full you want the middle to look. Take both ends and kind of gather it up, create my poof by bringing in the ends and pulling the end piece and attaching it here. So that's going to be my start point. Kind of like a little bouquet. Then you're going to secure it and do the exact same thing you did on the outside. Alright, so once you have your entire wreath filled in and attached, now you kind of just want to go through and see if you want to put in ribbon. Really, you could do whatever you want with it. And you just basically use the same pipe cleaners that you used before. And you just kind of tighten it down with the pipe cleaners. And then you just go in the design that you want. So I'm probably going to go in more of like a zigzag design. Once you're finished attaching all of your mesh and all of your ribbon, you're going to want to flip the wreath over and secure the pipe cleaners down, making sure that you tuck that wire in so it's not scratching the back of the door, and try to make it as clean as you possibly can. And now we're going to create these spiral fillers. It is very, very easy. What I'm going to do is take this 6-inch white mesh that I got from Dollar Tree. I'm going to cut off 2 spirals, and there's really no rhyme or reason. I just kind of eyeball it and kind of get the look that I want, as full as I want it to be. So I've got 2 white here. I'm going to also cut a silver off. Again, just rolling it up and creating that little spiral piece. Then I'm going to lay out a ribbon so I can secure it. And you just gather it up and try to keep the opening down at the bottom so that way it doesn't fray. If you put the opening piece at the top, you're more likely to have fraying in your wreath, which is not good. So keep those openings down because it'll get closed with the ribbon. But you're going to take your mesh tubing and kind of just measure it out to the length that you want. If you want them to be longer than the spirals, make it longer. If you want it to be shorter, make it shorter. Equal lengths, make it equal length. Really, it's whatever you want and like in a wreath, because this is what's going to pop out and give your wreath some color. But I just take ribbon, I kind of tie it together really, really tightly. That's the important part about it. You can leave the extra ribbon to add extra dimension. That's completely up to you, or you can snip it off like I do. In this wreath, it really doesn't matter. Just make sure you're tying that securely. Then you're going to take your spirals and you're going to cover each one of your pipe cleaners up that you put on the wreath. I am using a color that blends in with my wreath, but you can use a different color again to add more color and texture and kind of pop to your wreath if you want to. I also like using the same color because it hides the pipe cleaner in the back once I've looped it around a few times, but just again, knot it and secure it. After about a week of playing with placement and colors and all of that, I think I've decided on this. Now this is not permanently in there. I will show you how I'm going to go about getting these to stay, but with the mesh you can kind of stick things on there and back away from it and see if you like it before you permanently attach it. Alright, so for these ones they have alligator clips, which I love because I feel like it just makes life a lot easier. I'm just going to snip off the tag and take that alligator clip and pop it right on the mesh. It's super, super simple. The next thing I'm going to do to attach these snowflakes is take my crafting wire, and you're going to need some wire cutters for this as well. But you're just going to basically take it and twist it on so it's secure to the snowflake. Twist it as many times as you feel necessary. There's really no right or wrong, just as long as it's secure onto the snowflake. And then you're going to take that wire and kind of guide it through in the place that you want the snowflake to be. And then just secure that by twisting it onto your wreath frame. Now you do want to be very careful that you don't grab the mesh and rip it. Again, this
piece had an alligator clip, which makes life so much easier. And once you have all of it down, you want to take needle nose pliers or any form of pliers really and just pull the craft wire in so it's not scratching the door. Alright guys, and there is an overview of that wreath. You can barely see the craft wire on the snowflakes, which is awesome. I really did love using that. It was a lot easier. But if you need to use glue, use E6000. That's an all-weather type of glue, unlike hot glue, which will eventually melt off in hotter temperatures. But that's going to be it for me, guys. I also have a few other wreath tutorials. If you want to check them out, you can check my playlist. And that's about it. I'll see you soon. Bye. Thanks for watching.